This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Van Dyke.
And I'm Justin Betty. It's been mild for the last few days now, but today it really felt like spring across the valley.
To see how long the warm weather will stick around, here's First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
All right, thanks you too, and good evening, everyone. Temperatures today simply awesome, and in fact 52 at Fargo today, 52 Jamestown, 50 Valley City. How about Grand Forks hitting 40 or better for the first time since December 1st. So it's been nice. Look at those nice temperatures in central Minnesota. Thanks to the pine tree effect, we saw some 50s out there. Hey, here's a look at current temperatures. All of us cooling into the 30s, down to freezing in Langdon. It does look like more of us will cool below freezing overnight. Couple of things we're watching for. Areas of patchy dense fog in the southern valley as we go into the morning hours. And a couple of flakes up north with temperatures slipping below freezing. Any wet roads could become slippery. So keep that in mind as you're heading out the door first thing in the morning. Temperatures will dip down below freezing after we go through about the 2 a.m. hour here. Wind lightens up a little bit. And again, there could be some areas of patchy fog here in the south that with freezing temperatures become freezing fog. Up north, likewise, hovering just below freezing as we go through the mid-morning hours in Grand Forks. Coming up, we have some changes to talk about as, well, spring is right around the corner, but winter could be right back in action as we go into next week. I'll have all the details you'll need here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
New tonight, Minot police have arrested a woman in a murder case dating back to 2007. Authorities found 18-year-old Minot State student Anita Knutson stabbed to death in her off-campus apartment June of 2007. Until now, no suspect had been named in the case, but today, police took 34-year-old Nicole Rice into custody on murder charges.
Serving to know that somebody is out there that murdered somebody, and in this case, there was not one person that had anything bad to say about Anita. So to me, this was a young girl with a great future that was taken away from her family way too soon.
Yeah, Minot Air Force Base. She's now being held at the Ward County Jail.
Also new tonight, a Grand Forks man charged with sexually assaulting an 8-year-old is now due to be sentenced in June. Court records show 28-year-old Joseph Case's trial was canceled yesterday as he changed his plea. He was charged with 3 felony counts of gross sexual imposition after court documents say he admitted to inappropriately touching the girl 3 separate times early last year. The Stutsman County Sheriff says they need your help finding 20-year-old Dallas Holland. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance and probation violations in Mercer County. They say Holland is 5'9" with brown hair and hazel eyes. Authorities say he has recent addresses in Jamestown and Buchanan. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Stutsman County Sheriff's Office at 701-252-9000. And an update on a missing Moorhead woman we told you about last night. She has been found. Larissa Mills-Luthmers has contacted her guardianship company, and her mother says she is safe.
Fargo police and City Hall officials are looking to curb underage drinking and the use of fake IDs. One way they're doing that is with new ID scanners.
And one local business is already looking to add that technology. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling gives us a look.
Fake IDs and underage drinking, they're issues found across the country, and Fargo is no exception. But Fargo PD and the Liquor Control Board are promoting ID scanners to help catch them in the act.
It is helping to prevent underage folks from getting into licensed premises and overall and consuming alcohol, because we know a lot of times when that happens, other bad things happen following that.
Kay Schwartzwalter of the board says she is frustrated with the number of failed compliance checks, stating that 9 were reported last month and 6 this time around. Craven Fargo is one business that has been hit with a penalty after they failed a compliance check. Their general manager, Eric Reinhardt, was at the Liquor Control Board meeting to explain the situation, saying that they will be bringing in new technology to help catch fake IDs and underage drinkers, taking the pressure off of their servers.
You scan the idea, you're taking it out of the server's hands for any kind of a failure, for anything. They could be nervous, it could be dark, there's 100 reasons why they could look at ID and not catch that. This will take that out of their hands completely.
These scanners vary in cost. An example of this is an ID Visor Smart V2, which goes for $895. Despite the cost, Reinhardt thinks the scanners should be used citywide.
This is how it should be done. This is what everybody should be using.
In Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Reinhardt says they plan to have the scanners in place in the near future. Sports Bar also uses them.
About 14,000 homeowners in Fargo will soon see their property taxes go up. It's because their property values have gone up 5 to 10% thanks to Fargo's annual reassessment process. The city assessor tells us on average, properties are revalued every 5 years or so. The exact tax increase won't be known until the mill levy for the next year is set in September. If you'd like to challenge your increase, you can contact the city assessor's office. Today, the Federal Reserve announced it is raising interest rates by 0.25%. Its first rate hike in about 3 years. It's designed to help fight off inflation. The Federal Open Market Committee also predicted more rate hikes at each of its 6 remaining meetings this year, reaching almost 2% by year's end. Federal rates are still among the lowest they have ever been. The price of oil fell for a third straight day today, catching President Biden's attention. The president tweeted, quote, "Oil prices are decreasing. Gas prices should too. The last time oil was $96 a barrel, gas was $3.62 a gallon. Now it's $4.31. Oil and gas companies shouldn't pad their profits at the expense of hardworking Americans," end quote. Today, President Biden also took the new step of calling Russian leader Vladimir Putin a war criminal. Announced another $800 million in security assistance to Ukraine, including anti-tank missiles and more defensive weapons to help defend them from invasion by Russia. The move comes after Ukrainian President Zelensky spoke to Congress today, but it does not include the fighter jets or the no-fly zone that he requested.
A couple from Macville, North Dakota, Brent and Anna Huso, say they're stuck in Ukraine. They went to visit family there in early February. Once the bombings began, the family evacuated and separated. They just finally reunited in western Ukraine, but learned Anna's brother-in-law died from heart failure. Now they say Anna's mother is sick and they can't leave Ukraine until she's better. But they say they're taking it one day at a time.
It's not just our family that's affected. We're this small village that we're encamped in right now was a nice, quiet, small village, and now there's thousands of people from all over this country that have lost everything too. So it's scary when you are able to communicate with others and hear their stories of what they had to go through, and it's devastating. So yeah, you learn a lot every day.
A Facebook page named Huso Ukrainian Family Relief Fund is posting updates from the family along with information on how to donate. We have a link to that page right on our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story.
Many people are enjoying today's warmer weather, and if you're a maple syrup lover, then the warm-up is an especially sweet treat.
Larissa Mills gives us a look at syrup season in Duluth.
Thawing snow, shining sun, and chirping birds, all signs that sap will soon be flowing from maple trees.
When we get weather that's consistently above freezing, preferably above 40 where nights still freeze, that's what's great for maple syrup making.
Doug Halfbauer, known to many in Duluth as Farmer Doug, taps about 1,000 maple trees every spring.
We typically only get maybe 10 good days a year where the sap really runs.
He says he's optimistic about this year's sap production.
Our concerns this year goes back to last year's drought, and if the trees actually made up enough sugar reserves through photosynthesis to have those stored in the roots to start this season. I think we did.
Halfbauer says the tapping season usually lasts about 6 weeks and can begin anytime in March and go all the way up until the end of April or early May.
If you have a small number of trees, right now would be a great time to start.
Kathy Burgess co-owns Burgess Family's Sugar House in Duluth. They tap about 2,500 trees each season. Burgess says for beginners, getting started is easier than you might think.
It's a really fun project, especially if you have children. It doesn't take a lot of investment to get started.
Family fun and a way to connect with the outdoors.
And this is an opportunity for hobbyists to go and tap a few trees in their yard or on neighbor's yard and make enough for, for your Sunday morning pancakes. You can pour some of your own syrup.
Tapping out of winter and into spring, one maple tree at a time.
Both experts say it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make just 1 gallon of syrup.
That's a lot of work.
It's wild.
One of the most famous musical acts of all time is coming to Fargo but we'll tell you why it may not be as hot a ticket as you might expect.
Well, speaking of a hot ticket, today was beautiful. 50s down south, 40s up north, and a few 50s in central Minnesota as well. Perfect day to get out the leash and take out the cat for a walk, or the llama. Your hour by hour forecast is coming up next.